Good morning. Welcome back at ICA YouTube channel. Live videos are running on this. Simultaneously, you may see us at ICA BOS app and SSP portal. So welcome back, beta. We are already on buyback of shares and securities, an important chapter from examination point of view. Yes, good morning to all of you. That is Hitesh, Sudhanshu, Rahul, Aditi, K. Sai, everyone, whomsoever are present. And सेंड योर प्रेजेंस बेटा फास्ट 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 अपनी प्रेजेंस भेजो एक बार पता लगे कि आप लोग कौन कौन अवेलेबल हो अपनी अपनी प्रेजेंस भेजने के लिए जो आपकी बीओएस ऐप है या एसएसपी पोर्टल है उसके थ्रू भेजो बट इट विल बी ऑलवेज बेटर वहां पर आप लोग कमेंट दे सकते हो जो यूट्यूब है वहां पर आप कमेंट नहीं दे सकते बट आप जो आईसीआई की बीओएस ऐप है या आप लोगों का जो एसएसपी पोर्टल है वहां पर आप इजीली कमेंट भी दे सकते हो जो भी आप लोगों की क्वेरी है लाइव वो पूछ सकते हो सो लेट्स आस्क दी लाइव क्वेरीज whatever there are doubts whatever doubts you have in these chapters buyback of shares and securities let's start with that. Aditi has a query. Aditi, please send the query. Very good. Everyone send the good morning. Send good morning, everyone. It's really a good morning because in North India, temperature is cool and we all are enjoying good morning. So, what is the query, Aditi? Send it fast. Buyback of shares and securities is an important chapter. We have already started it in our previous lecture. We have discussed the brief working of buyback of shares, which is just same as redemption of preference shares we have discussed in CA Foundation, because redemption of preference share chapter is also done by all the students in CA Foundation or in BCom. So we can say that this chapter is easy for those who have already done it. Sir, can you please sum up? Yeah, please, no problem at all, Karthik. We will go for the doubts. And simultaneously, I would like to go for a complete question so that everyone will understand what is the basic concept. Illustration number 4, part 3, treatment in balance sheet. Okay, illustration number 4, she is demanding. Just a moment, I would like to see if it is possible that I may go for the full question. Yeah, it's a good question. It's better we will go for the complete question. Illustration number 4. In that case, everyone will understand. Whomsoever are new today will also get help to some extent. So let's come to illustration number 4. We will discuss each and everything. It will help us to review the complete chapter, whatever we have discussed in our previous lecture, and simultaneously whatever is new and something advanced topic in this chapter, we will discuss that. Yes. Illustration number 4, he says Extra Limited, a non-listed company, furnishes you with the following balance sheet as at 31st of March. So it is given to you that equity share capital is 120 lakhs, reserve and surplus is 118 lakhs. Yeah. So non-current liabilities, current liabilities, assets, all are given to you. Nobody is interested to discuss. He says the company redeemed preference shares at a premium of 10% 1st of April 2011. So company has redeemed its preference shares at a premium of 10%. Good. Also bought back 3 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each at rupees 30 per share. So face value is rupees 10 only, but these are purchased at 30 rupees per share. Payment for the above was made out of huge bank balances which is available with us. So he says there is a investment appearing in the balance sheet which includes investment in our own debentures. Means we have purchased our own debentures also, and that investment is lying worth rupees 2 lakh, whose face value is 2.20 lakh. These debentures are also to be cancelled. So for that, you should have the understanding of issue of debentures and redemption of debentures chapter also. We will discuss it. Company had 1 lakh ESOPs also on the above mentioned date to the employees at 20. The market price was 30. On 1st April, employees exercised their options for 50,000 shares. So this entry is also to be passed, which is purely related to your previous chapter, which you have discussed, ESOPs. So accounting for ESOPs, we already know how to pass out the entries. So basically, I assume that that is normally known to every student. So let's start with this. First of all, tell me, I would like to ask from your side, that will be always better. In this case, where we say that the chapter is already done by us to some extent, you must have to send me the answer. बेटा आप लोग आंसर्स भेजोगे, मैं आपसे पूछने जा रहा हूं, आप लोग साथ के साथ आंसर भेजोगे. फास्ट भेजना है, किसी ने वेट नहीं करनी, फास्ट करना है काम. फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज देयर. ही सेज कंपनी ने अपने प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स को रिडीम किया एट ए प्रीमियम ऑफ 10%. व्हाट विल बी द जर्नल एंट्री फॉर दिस? क्या जर्नल एंट्री रहेगी, आप लोग बताओगे, मुझे सेंड करो आप लोग कि व्हाट विल बी द जर्नल एंट्री फॉर रिडम्पशन ऑफ प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स. इसके लिए यू शुड हैव द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द चैप्टर रिडम्पशन ऑफ प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स, जो कि आप लोगों ने ऑलरेडी करा हुआ है सीए फाउंडेशन में. दुर्गा सेज देयर इज नो एंट्री. नो दुर्गा, इट विल बी एंट्री. एंट्री तो डालनी पड़ेगी हमें, बिकॉज हम लोग अकाउंटिंग कर रहे हैं किसकी, 1 अप्रैल 2021 से लेकर 31 मार्च 2022 तक की. देखो, प्रिपेयर बैलेंस शीट एज ऑन, नहीं ठीक है, प्रिपेयर बैलेंस शीट एज ऑन 1 अप्रैल 2011. सो एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग टू हैपन ऑन 1 अप्रैल 2011. सी हियर इट इज, he is demanding it from you 1 April 2011, and you must have to see that all transactions will have to be made. All these transactions will have to be made on 1 April 2011. So we have to pass all the entries for this. This is also 1 April 2011. So what will be the journal entry, beta? Remember the concept in which you have discussed in your chapter. The chapter was redemption of preference shares. In that we have discussed, whenever we have to redeem preference shares, entry is very simple. Preference share capital account debit, or whatever the exact name given in your balance sheet, that will be debited. Whatever the exact name. Premium on redemption account debit. If you are making payment by way of premium also to preference shareholders account, because we will transfer it to preference shareholders account. Short form is never allowed in your exams. Preference shareholders account. So the value is given to you. It is the exact name is 9% redeemable preference shares. So the value is 20. It will be exactly written as 9% redeemable preference share capital account debit, premium on redemption account debit. It will be with 20. Premium of 10% is to be paid. It will be 2. That is 10% of 20. And total amount will be 22. Being preference shares due for redemption. Being preference shares due for redemption. So that is the entry to be passed. And then we have to make them the payment. For that, you must have to check whether cash is available with us, whether funds are available with us in our bank. Cash and cash equivalents are available to us. This is 142 and we need only 22. So there is no worry with it. Preference shareholders debit to bank. So payment of 22 is paid to them. Aditi, Anurag, Akash Nil, everyone has sent the entries. Sonika, very good. Rahul, very good. Karthik, everyone has sent the entries. And it is really a pleasure for me that all are listening to me and sending the entries, whatever I am demanding. And even someone are sending good morning, those who are late. So it will take time to type full name. So we are typing short forms. Exactly, you should have to type short forms here. But in exams, remember, you will write everything in full. Don't try to use short forms because short forms are not allowed, beta. So these are two entries. Now tell me how to create a system of another entry, whatever another entry is required. These are the two entries, whatever we have discussed. Any other entries according to your mind required for redemption or not? कोई और एंट्री चाहिए रिडम्पशन के लिए? नहीं, क्योंकि रिडम्पशन कंप्लीट हो गया प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स का. अगर चाहिए तो वो एंट्री सेंड करो. सेंड मी द एंट्री whatever is required in addition to the entries which we have passed in front in your computer. I have already passed in your mobile. You have seen that. Tell me if there is any other entry which is required to be passed. Fast, but waiting from your side. Hitesh Jain, no entry. I send it, sir. Aditi has already sent it. Okay. Aditi का check करना चाहिए because Aditi ने काम कर दिया है हमारा. Very good. Aditi has already done it. That's very good. Nice. What will be the third entry which is to be passed? Very good. Very good. Number of students are sending. Very good. Akash Neil has sent it. Khushi has sent it. Pooja has sent it. Pooja, you have to resend it. There may be some error. Khushi, you should have to resend it because I am not saying that it is right. Rahul, it's okay. Good. Equity shares entry is not required yet because I have not gone for equity shares, Hitesh. Security premium entry is also required. Very good, Durga. Good, good, good. You have sent it. Very good. Any other entry, Durga, which is required? So third entry which is required is to create CRR for this or to make fresh issue because it is mandatory whenever we have to redeem preference shares. It was discussed in that chapter that preference shares can be issued only either you have to create CRR means face value of preference shares to be redeemed should be settled with CRR. Either you have to create an equivalent amount of CRR or partial amount of CRR, plus you have to go for face value of fresh issue of equity shares in this case. So see whether you have done it. In the given case, nothing is mentioned about fresh issue of equity shares. You may see it, it is not mentioned anywhere in the question. So what to do? We must have to create CRR, which should be equivalent to preference shares face value, that is 20. So we need CRR of 20 because this is 0. So how to create CRR? For that you should have free reserves available with you. So whether free reserves are available, see, yes, reserve and surplus is available to 118. See whether it is a revenue reserve, free reserve or not. Yes, out of 118, we have free reserves worth rupees 50. Security premium also free reserve. We know it very well. This is not a free reserve. Capital reserve is not assumed as free reserve. We assume that capital reserve is created for out of those profits which are not utilized for the purpose of creating CRR. So CRR can be created out of this or this. So preference is always this because security premium is preferably used for writing of premium on redemption. So let's go for it. Free reserve, that is revenue reserve, is to be utilized. 20 lakhs revenue reserve is to be utilized. So we will pass an entry for this. That is revenue reserve account debit to CRR 20 lakhs. Then how to write off premium on redemption, that should be known to everyone. We have to write off premium on redemption also. For that we will use security premium. Security premium is also available. You have already seen it. Debit to premium on redemption. So these are the 4 entries which are to be passed for this purpose. Very good. Number of students have tried and well tried. Very good. What about transferring of loss already done? Sir, there will be total 4 entries which are: 1 due for redemption, 2nd cancel premium, 3rd, exactly beta, you are right. Very good. Sir, if revenue reserve security premium, then they place them for making of CA. If revenue reserve security premium reserve, then is there any specific order? Yes, exactly, there is an order. Karthik's question is good. The revenue reserve is to be used first, means first of all you have to use revenue reserves or general reserve, whatever is available. Then you have to go for profit or loss account. Then you have to use security premium because security premium is to be utilized at the end because it is preferably utilized for the purpose of premium on redemption. We are not using it for GR or for at our first instance. We are using it at the end. So always preference is this, then this, then this. Good morning, very good. Sneha, good morning. Sorry for joining late. No problem, Shriram. Sir, if revenue reserve security then done. Gehani, security premium account debit, very good. So I think everyone is understood how to go for redemption of preference shares. That's okay. Now I'm going to start with the next point. Next point is given to you. That is, we have bought back 3 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each at 30 per share. Payment for the above was made out of huge bank balances. So let's come to the point that 3 lakh equity shares are also to be buyback. So see how many equity shares are available. That you should check from notes to accounts. Here it is given to you. We have 100 lakh equity shares available with us. He says only 3 lakh means 30 lakh. 3 lakh number is given. So 3 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each. So that means for 30 lakh equity shares are to be redeemed. 3 lakh at the rate of 10 each, and these are to be bought back at 30 per share. Now, what will be the first entry for this? What will be the first entry? First entry for this, sir, but security premium is utilized for a specified purpose as per section 53 of the Companies Act. Aditi, no problem. It is purely allowed if you will see your theory part, whatever is given in your theory part, because we are not discussing here about Companies Act in detail, because Companies Act have various norms and various provisions, and we can't go into depth while doing accounting. In accounting, you may better check out the theory part, whatever is given in your module. So see the theory part that is already mentioned in your module. If you see page number, yeah, this is page number 4.3 beta. The Companies Act 2013 under section 68 subsection 1 permits companies to buy back their own shares and other specified securities out of its free reserves or the security premium account or the proceed of the issue of any share or other specified securities. That is already given on page number 4.3 beta. Please check it there. That's it. I'm not a company law professional here. Please. Revenue reserve is 50 lakh. Actually, whenever one thing is very much important. एक पुरानी कहावत आती नीम हकीम खतरा जान, और we can say less information is always dangerous. So I'm not going to have time to discuss with you regarding the company's law provisions. So due to that reason, I'm saying better you should have to refer the theory part given in module. Otherwise, that is allowed in company law also. You need not to worry. But that is not possible because that notes are not available with me. I can't refer you that. So due to that reason, we can't discuss it here. You need not to worry, beta. Whatever we are discussing, whatever is given in your module, that is purely correct. Very good, Akashnil. 90 lakh. Okay, debit. ठीक है. Send me the next entry. Equity share capital 30 lakh. Security premium 60. Yeah, this is not right entry, Durga Maniseti. This is wrong. Wrong. Premium debit. Okay, good, good, good. Gaumati, Khushi, Karthik. Very good, very good. Pass the next entry. Better fast. First entry you have already passed. Good. This entry is purely done by you. So equity shares. Send me the second entry. In module, entry is given, but this entry I would not like to say correct. This entry have some problem. Better you may pass this entry. Equity share capital account debit with rupees 30. Premium on buyback of equity shares debit 60 to equity share buyback account. 90. This will be the entry. Those who have written here security premium, it's not correct. This is right. Don't write security premium. Security premium is wrong. Khushi, rectify yourself, please. All others must rectify. Don't. This meant for you are trying to copy it from your module, and that is purely wrong. Because if you are sending me entries, it is your self-testing. And self-testing is always good if you will not send me the same, because those students who are sending it by seeing from that, that is purely wrong. Yeah, you have to pass another entry for writing of premium. We will pass at that entry after some time. Then next entry is very good. Equity share. Buyback account debit to bank. We have to make payment. Very good, very good. Everyone has sent it. Very good. This is good. Both the entries, Shri Ram, very good. Good, very good. Everyone, very good. Many students have sent. I can't speak the name, don't worry. But we are sending correctly. There's no problem. Then we have to write off premium also. We have to create CRR also. Now in the given question, there is nothing, there's no reference given by whether fresh issues to be made or not. If nothing is mentioned, whether the redemption oblique buyback, whatever we are doing, because I'm talking about both now, is to be adjusted from CRR, or we can't say adjusted, we can say is to be adjusted by creating CRR. So that I would like by CRR or making fresh issue, then we will create CRR if sufficient free reserves are available. Otherwise, make fresh issue. If sufficient free reserves are not available, then we will create. Then we will not create CRR. Obviously, we are unable to create CRR. Then we will have to make fresh issue. If sufficient free reserves are available, then it is better that we have to create CRR. I think this is clear. So in the given case, you should have to create CRR for that, because revenue reserves are available. Revenue reserve account debit to CRR 30 30. Then we have to write off premium also. So premium on buyback is to be written off. For that, security premium is to be used. Security premium account debit to premium on buyback 60 60. These two entries are clear to everyone, I assume? A query is asked, why is loss on premium amount set off with security premium and not with P? P means not with P. Why is loss on premium amount set off with security premium and not with P? Please complete your query, Pooja. I would like to help you. Yashashvi sir, when we sell investment and have profit on sale, so what should be written? Profit on sale of investment or profit and loss? It will be better to write profit on sale or loss on sale of investment. Actually, then we have to pass an entry by adjusting it from profit or loss account. But it is not mandatory. You may write profit or loss directly also if profit or loss account is available. If profit or loss account is not available in your balance sheet, then you should have to write profit or sale or loss on sale, and then you have to pass another entry by of adjusting it from general reserve or other revenue reserves or free reserves, whatever is available. मीन्स अगर हमारे पास प्रॉफिट और लॉस अकाउंट बैलेंस शीट में अवेलेबल है, फिर तो आप डायरेक्टली प्रॉफिट और लॉस को डेबिट या क्रेडिट कर सकते हो इस एंट्री में. लेकिन अगर प्रॉफिट लॉस अकाउंट अवेलेबल नहीं है तो फिर आपको प्रॉफिट ऑन सेल या लॉस ऑन सेल लिखना पड़ेगा. नेक्स्ट एंट्री रिगार्डिंग ESOPs. No, next entry is regarding investment in own debenture costing rupees 2 lakh are to be cancelled. Pass this entry. Third point. Included in its investment in own debenture costing rupees 2 lakh. These debentures were cancelled on 1st of April. Pass the entry better fast. Have you done it in your previous class? Do you know how to pass this entry? How to cancel investment in own debentures? If you know, please pass the entry and send it to me. If you doesn't know, then send me a query. Waiting for your answers. Good, Durga. Shri Ram, good. Sudhanshu, very good. Khushi, no sir, I doesn't understood what you are interested to say. No sir. Debenture debit to investment in own debenture. So let's understand this entry. Basically, whenever we have an investment by way of investment in our own debentures, that means for we have purchased the debenture of our own company and keep it as an investment, and this is purely allowed. Purely allowed. But in case of equity shares, it is not allowed. In case of preference shares, it is not allowed that you may purchase your own equity shares and keep it as an investment in your asset side. That is not allowed. In case of debentures, it is allowed. So when we are purchasing those debentures, what will be the entry? Entry is very simple. Investment when we are purchasing it in own debentures, debit to bank, and the value will be the purchase price, the price at which you have purchased it. Now, when this investment is cancelled, this is to be cancelled by two ways. One is you may sell it. If you are selling it, the entry will be simple: bank account debit to investment in own debenture. Whatever the profit or loss is, that will be transferred to P&L account. It will be just like selling our own, selling normal investment. It will not be a different transaction. But if you are interested to cancel your own debentures with the debentures appearing in your liability side, means you are interested to cancel your debenture. You are not interested to continue this investment. Instead, whatever liability is there by way of non-current liabilities are given to you, it will be out of that. Yeah, this is long-term borrowings are there, 10% debentures, 4. So these are 10% debentures lying in your balance sheet. You are interested to you cancel your 10% debentures whose face value is 2.20 lakhs. That is given in your asset side. And your You are interested to cancel your investment in own debentures, which is costing rupees 2 lakhs. So you are interested to cancel this. So when you will cancel this, you will earn a profit also, because the face value of 2.20 lakh is to be cancelled from liability side. Investment worth rupees 2 lakh is to be cancelled from asset side. So obviously, if we are reducing liability by 2.20 lakhs and reducing our asset by 2 lakhs, that means for we are earning a profit of 20 lakhs, 0.20 lakhs. So the entry is very simple. Asset is to be credited to be cancelled, liability is to be debited to be cancelled. So 10% debentures debit worth rupees 2.20 lakhs to investment. It should be better written by the name. Yeah, non-current investment word is written. It is not mentioned that what is the name exactly given here. So if name is given, you should have to write name here, but here name is not given. So investment in own debentures, you may write, or you may write non-current investments. Whatever name is given, that is a better option. So you may write anything by rupees 2 lakh. Now, obviously, you will earn profit also. The right way is you will have to write here 2.20 lakhs, because if you will go with accounting entry, it should be 2.20 lakh. Now, automatically there is a profit. So transfer of profit, there will be two entries for this matlab, meaning thereby A and B. In B entry, what you will do? Investment in own debentures or non-current investments. In exam, you should have to write non-current investment. This is just for understanding why I am writing this. Debit to profit on sale. Profit on cancellation, sorry. Profit on cancellation of own debentures. This is the right way. 0.20. Because loss can be adjusted here. Loss on sale of investment. Profit can't be adjusted, because when we are selling any asset, the entry should be bank account debit to asset account, because it should be with the selling price. And the next entry should be for adjusting profit or loss. So whatever is the profit or loss, that should be entered asset account debit to profit. Or if there is a loss, that can be entered here, because loss can be debited, but profit cannot be credited here, because in that case it will go to bank account, and the right way of transferring profit is through asset account only. So these are the two entries which are normally passed. I think this is clear. Next we are coming to ESOPs. Shouldn't we create CRR if sufficient reserves not available? Query is asked, sir, shouldn't we create CRR if sufficient? Shriram, basically we have already discussed whatever is mentioned in Companies Act that you can't discuss with me. Reason is there because Companies Act have various provisions. You have already studied only studied few provisions, and you are going to discuss that. That is not good thing. It is always better to refer the theory part given in your module for that particular chapter, and everything is written correctly in your chapter. There is no need of worry. You should not have to correlate it with your company law. If you will do that, you will lose marks in your CA exams. Issue is this: whenever you will go for company law, that is a theoretical part. Go accordingly. But when you are coming to the accounting part, it is purely a practical part. The concept of using theory is only whatever is given in your module, because we have only 5 marks or 10 marks question in that. if you will concentrate on theory part or the law provisions, then you will not be able to solve the question properly because we have limited time. In company law, we are there to write theory. So there is no problem. You may write anything and they may see that whether it is correct or not because there is always a lapse of information. You may say lack of information is a problem. You are not able to understand the complete theory and you are not, even your teachers are teaching you only the important parts. They are not going to give you the depth because if you will go into CA final, you will see the complete concept of company law will also change because this company law will come to you in CA final also, and that will be at more advanced level. You are not able to read the Bear Act. To know the company law in proper, you should have to read the Bear Act. In Bear Act, everything is given in detail, and your theory of module, whatever is given in your accounting part, is normally a logical concept, and we have to go it by practical ways. Don't mix theory and practical. Okay, company law and company accounts. Better rupees are in lakhs here. Someone is saying that it is crores. Aditi, it is in lakhs. It has been mentioned specifically. If you will see here, okay. Due to that reason, I am writing. As per prudence concept, we would have to record investment at cost price as it is lower than face value. Mukhuji, basically you are saying that we would have recorded investment at cost price that is lower than face value. Exactly, you should have to record it. There's no problem. You have recorded it correctly. There's no worry. Basically, when we are preparing asset account, then the concept of this entry comes. So better prepare asset account and see entry is routed through asset account. So due to that, and this is just a, if you will prepare it by this way, asset account. See, you have an asset of 2 crore or 2 lakhs. Okay, that is balance brought down. Now, when you will sell it, what will be the entry? Whether that entry will be buy bank 2 lakh. This is not a right entry. Normally, we are writing buy bank 2.20 lakhs. And then we are calculating profit by way of balance sheet figure or by way of calculation. That will be profit 0.20 lakhs. So that I am trying to let you understand that the entry passes by this way. But if there is a loss, then how to treat that? Brought down 2 lakh and we have sold it for rupees 1.50 lakhs. Then obviously there is a loss, that is 0.50 lakh. In that case, there is no problem. In that case, asset account is purely adjusted, no problem. But here there is a, when there is a profit, there is some problem. So due to that reason, I am just trying to solve, clear you. Maybe Namarta, you are also clear. Basically, investment account, asset account doesn't allow us. This is the right way of passing entry. Profit on cancellation is set up from revenue reserve. Exactly. We should write the purchase price 2 lakh, but you have written 2.20 lakhs, sir. The purchase price 2 lakh. No, I have written correctly, beta. Here, whatever I am saying, that is correct. Okay. Pooja, is that clear? I've already mentioned you. This is the right way. Whenever you are going for this, you should. Okay. So come to the ESOPs. This is basically, I can't tell here, but this is the fact that you have, when you have studied +1, then your teachers has not given concentration on this point, or you have not given concentration. Today you are suffering due to this reason only, beta. Because you should have to go for the logics. Logics are very much clear. Next part is your company has 1 lakh equity stock option outstanding on the above mentioned date at rupees 20. When the market price was 30, this was included under current liability. Implies exercise option for 50,000 shares. So you have to pass the entry. Actually, accounting is always based on the debit and credits, and proper entries are required. If you will see that an asset is purchased by us. So when we will purchase an asset, the entry is very simple, because when you will pass an entry, you are passing an entry asset account debit to bank. There is no profit or loss. But when you are selling it, entry is bank account debit to asset account. This is the actual entry. If you have purchased it for 1 lakh, no problem. If you have sold it to 1.5 lakh, no problem. And then you have to calculate profit or loss on sale. Actual entry is this. But you are normally doing it wrongly, and teachers are not, uh, that doesn't stop you from doing this. This is a problem. Entry is asset account debit to profit on sale, 0.50 lakhs. So this is the right way. And this can be easily checked from the asset account. You may see you are preparing asset account correctly. In asset account, what you are doing, you are passing an entry to bank when you are purchasing an asset for 1 lakh. And when you are selling it, you are passing an entry by bank 1.5 lakhs. And then you are transferring profit. Now see what is the entry. You may check yourself whether I have written correctly or you are writing correct. Now see, entry should be asset to bank, bank to asset, and asset to profit. But normally students are passing wrong entries, and no one is stopping them to do from doing it. And if I pass entry as debenture 2.22 investment to profit on cancel, then it will reduce my marks. Exactly. If a checker knows the concept, he will obviously reduce your marks. You need not to worry. You should have to just correct it. I'm giving you the basics, but this is a part of basically CA foundation or plus one. So I can't invest too much time on it, but I'm trying to solve your problems. Next is ESOPs. So here 50,000. Maybe you have written this. So coming to our chapter again, coming to our question once again. Illustration number 4 is running. Yeah, 50,000 has applied for the exercise for this option. So 50,000 at rupees 20, they have exercised the option, and rupees 10 is the fair value in this case. 50,000, that is bank account debit, 50,000 into 20. Then employee stock option outstanding account debit, that is 50,000 into 10 to equity share capital, 50,000 into 10 to security premium. That is 50,000 into 20. So this will be the entry. So actually in many chapter we pass entry like this and no one stop from doing this. Good. Bifurcating we do in this way. So actually in many chapter we pass entries. Okay, no problem. We pass many entry like this: bank account debit to asset to gain on sale, and then gain on sale to gain on sale, asset debit to P. Whatever you passed, I'm not saying that we are going to rectify that, but the concept should be rectified. So try to rectify your concept. Okay. I think all entries are done for this illustration. Coming to the next one. Next one is regarding new concept. So come to that. Come to page number 4.3. 4.4, sir. 4.4. Yeah. So there are some points given to you on page number 4.3 and 4.4. He says section 68 subsection 2 further states that no company shall purchase its own shares unless the buyback is authorized. A special resolution has been passed. Already we have discussed this, but now we are going to discuss it from practical point of view. So he says when the above provision do not apply, when the buyback is 10% or less. So of what? Of equity share capital and free reserves, and is authorized by a board resolution. So that is given to you. In case the buyback is up to 10% of the paid up capital, the same may be done with the authorization of board resolution without necessity. So that is the simple information given to you. Now, next point is which is very important. That is when we will go for buyback, what are the conditions which are to be satisfied? Even if general meeting is there, even then you should have to satisfy some conditions. And those conditions are: first condition, this is called resource test that you have to do. Note it down with you. Resource test. This is to be done by way of the buyback must be equal to or less than 25% of the total paid up capital and free reserves. Means you have to add up your paid up capital and free reserves both and get 25% of that. You can't make more than that as a buyback. Buyback can't be more than 25% of your paid up capital and free reserve in any case. In any case means even if you have gone for the general meeting, even if you have fulfilled all the conditions, but you can't make more than that. That is 25% of paid up capital and free reserves. Simultaneously, there's a limit also, share outstanding test. That is number of shares. You can't make more than 25% of its paid up capital and free reserves. Both have same meaning, doesn't have too much different meaning. That may be in rare cases when the meaning will be different. Otherwise, both have same meaning. The buyback of shares, earlier buyback amount was there, now buyback of shares is there. In any financial year, must not exceed 25% of its total paid up capital and free reserves. One and the same meaning, not too much difference. Because we are going from the practical point of view. Once again, I am interested to say, because if I'll go into depth, that will be just make it typical. But we have to do it practically, so it should be easy to understand. The ratio of debt owned by the company after this buyback must not is not more than twice the total of its paid up capital and free reserves. That means for debt equity ratio must be 2 is to 1. Means debt equity ratio maybe 2 is to 1, maybe 1.9 is to 1, maybe 1.8 is to 1, but it can't be, this is allowed. It can't be 2.2 is to 1. This is not allowed. That is interested to the ratio of the debt owned by the company, both secured and unsecured. Means you have to take all the liabilities, all the debts, whether that is your long-term debts or short-term debts, whether secured, unsecured, after such buyback. If we will assume that the buyback has been done, after that buyback, it should not be more than twice, not more than, of what paid up capital and free reserves. Means that in FM you have already done, financial management you have already done, that how to calculate debt equity ratio. The concept is same here. So there are major two conditions. One condition is you will have to go for debt equity ratio. Second condition is you should have to go for maximum buyback of 25% of the total paid up capital and free reserves. So these two conditions need to be satisfied. Let's try to see it from practical point of view. When a student is doing CA course, he is normally assuming that whatever he is studying, that will all be a practical aspect. And when we will go into the practical working, everything will be same, which is purely, you may say, not correct. When we will do practically, then you will see that the importance of the studies which you have done in +1 was very important, or in CA foundation you have done, that is very important for starting your career, because practical knowledge is very important, but we doesn't even have the practical knowledge of whatever we have done in +1 commerce or in CA foundation. Normally student doesn't have practical knowledge of that part also, because they doesn't know how to prepare practical books in actual. We are not even able to prepare, you may say, original books of accounts, whatever you have studied, because you people have never done it. So when you will go into the market and see that you have already studied chapter bank reconciliation, but you will not be able to prepare that until unless you have not done it practically. You have done chapter data, uh, you have done chapter of stock management, that is you have already studied ABC analysis, VD analysis, but when you will see how to classify, how to use that chapter, it will be really not done by you because you have not done it practically. So let's try to give concentration on practical, because practical is really very important. So I always recommend students to go it practically. Whenever you are studying this, you should have to study it with a logic. Without logic, if you will study, you will be in a problem. So go it with logic. Now come to the question. I would like to discuss a question for you. Here you have to see illustration number. Illustration number 5 is good. See illustration number 5. Is that clear, Namatta? You was asking about this thing. Whatever I have discussed now, that is practical. You have said in a lifetime we buy should the buy should not be more than 25% of FR and PUSC in a lifetime. No, in a no at one time when you are doing it. Okay. So come to illustration number 5. Pratham Limited having a capital structure that is given to you. Equity share capital is 30 lakhs. General reserve is given to you. Security premium and all other reserves are also given to you. What you have to do, you are required to compute the debt equity ratio, the maximum number of shares that can be bought back in the light of above information when the offer price for buyback is 30 per share. So he has mentioned you that we have to calculate the debt equity ratio. We have to satisfy this test. According to this test, it is very much clear that the ratio should be 2 is to 1 after this buyback. So how to get it? For that, you need the see the solution. It will be better because then we will do it practically in another question. Yet I would like to discuss with you by way of the example. First of all, you have to check your debt. How much debts are given to you? Check the complete question. Here loan funds are given to you 42 lakhs. So these are the debts. And what is the capital given to you? If you see in the given question, equity share capital is 30 lakh. And simultaneously, what is the reserve and surplus given to you? That is also given to you. So first of all, if you will see that how much debt equity ratio should be, then you should have to consider this thing that let let's assume that debt is X or equity is X, that is better. Let's assume because ratio should be debt oblique equity 2 by 1. This is the concept which is in this case, which is given in this case. So how to get it? If we'll assume that the equity is X, or in simple words, you may say equity is equal to double of the debts. So how much should be the equity? Two equity is equal to debt. You're doing this thing now, multiply it with this, multiply it with this, and you normally gets it. So what is equity? That is equal to debt divided by 2. What is debt? 42 lakhs. So divided by 2 is equal to 21 lakhs. The way he has calculated, is that clear? In simple words, equity should be 50% of debts. Because debt equity ratio is 2 is to 1. So what should be the equity? Equity should be 50% of the debt. So that he has done 21 lakh, 42 lakh का 50% उसने कर दिया. इसको हम ऐसे भी समझ सकते हैं जो मैंने बताया अभी आपको कि अगर डेट इक्विटी रेशियो 2:1 है तो हम लोग क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई करके निकालते थे ना, अभी आप छोटी क्लासेस में निकालते थे. 2 इक्विटी इज इक्वल टू डेट, सो इक्विटी इज इक्वल टू व्हाट? डेट डिवाइड बाय 2, that is 21 lakhs. This is another way. It's clear? Now how much is the actual equity with us? Now what is equity? That should be known to every student. Equity is equal to paid up capital plus free reserves. This is what equity is. Write it down with you. Equity is equal to paid up capital plus free reserves. So in the given case, that is clear. Paid up capital is 30 lakh. How much is the free reserve that is given to you? Now security premium is also a free reserves, hence taken here. Revenue reserve, general reserve, profit and loss account, all these are free reserves. That has been taken. So you have added these two, it becomes 72 lakh 80,000. So this is the total amount. Now according to this, how much is allowed? 72 lakh 80,000 minus 21 lakh, because 21 lakh must be retained. After buyback, 21 lakh must be the balance. So maximum how much you can issue, maximum how much you can buy back. You can buy back 51 lakh 80,000. This is the maximum buyback which you can make, because we need now available equities 72 lakh 80,000. After buyback, it should be 21 lakh, which you have already calculated. So maximum buyback should be equivalent to the difference between these two, that is 51 lakh 80,000. I assume this is clear to every student. Note it down with you. Also given in this question also, if you see somewhere it will be given. But if you will see, whenever you are making buyback, your reserve will further decrease. Your reserve will not be 72 lakh 80,000 only, because when you will make buyback, obviously CRR is to be created from this free reserve. Hence, that will be reduced further. So this amount is purely not correct. It may have some other calculations also, some other workings also, which you have to do. So those calculations are done here. For that purpose, they have assumed that we have to create a CRR equivalent to X. So we have assumed that let's amount to be transferred to CRR is equal to X. That has been mentioned here. And maximum permitted buyback of equity shares is Y. So how much should be the buyback? That is free reserves, whatever are available, minus CRR, that is X, which you are saying, minus minimum balance to be retained. Minimum 21 lakh is to be retained. So he has deducted these two out of the free reserves, and then he says it will be equivalent to Y, because this will be the maximum amount which is permissible to be buyback. If you will see, I have 100 rupees with me. I have to transfer 20 rupees to CRR. That is to be done first. Minus, I have to keep in my pocket rupees 50. It is a minimum requirement. So how much you can expense, how much you can spend? You can spend maximum rupees 30. अगर मेरे पास 100 रुपए हैं, उसमें से 20 रुपीज तो मुझे CRR को देने हैं. ये बात पहले ही फाइनल हो गई. और 50 मुझे अपने पॉकेट में रखने हैं. मिनिमम बैलेंस टू बी रिटेन. तो ऑब्वियसली मैक्सिमम मैं कितना अमाउंट स्पेंड कर सकता हूं? तो I can spend maximum rupees 30. That is very simple to understand. In the same way, maximum amount जो मैं यहाँ पर बायबैक के लिए यूज कर सकता हूं, उसको मैंने एज्यूम कर लिया कि वो वाई है, ये माना है उसने। और जो अमाउंट मैंने सीआरआर को ट्रांसफर करनी है वो मुझे पता नहीं है, क्योंकि वो तो उसी के बाद आएगी जब बायबैक की अमाउंट निकल आएगी। तो ड्यू टू दैट रीजन मैंने उसको एक्स एज्यूम कर लिया। तो यहाँ पर क्या हुआ कि 72,80,000 तो टोटल है मेरा इक्विटी, उसमें से माइनस कर दिया मैंने जो मुझे सीआरआर को ट्रांसफर करना है, और माइनस कर दिया जो मिनिमम मुझे रखना है अपनी पॉकेट में, जो मिनिमम रखना ही रखना है मुझे, कम से कम 21 लाख तो रखना ही रखना है। तो बच जाएगा जो, उसको मैं यूज कर लूंगा किसके लिए, बायबैक के लिए, दैट इज वाई। तो ये एक इक्वेशन सी मैंने बना दी, मुझे लगता है ये इक्वेशन सभी को समझ लग गई होगी। कोई डाउट है तो बता सकते हैं। Revaluation reserve is not a free reserve. Aditi, you should have to note it down, and all other students, because this query is raised by a one good student, and I would like to say those who raise the queries are always the best one, and it will help others also who are also best, but this is best out of the betters, we can say. So, revaluation reserve is a reserve which is a capital reserve, number one. Second, it is not a cash reserve. It has been created out of the profits which we have earned from revaluation of profit, or revaluation of our assets. It is not from the sale of our assets. So it is also not to be utilized for many other purposes. Even where cash, capital reserve is allowed to be utilized, there also we can't use it. This is purely a capital reserve, hence it will not be used here. This is one simple thing. But another thing is, it may also not be used at many other levels where capital reserve is allowed to be used, because capital reserve is to be used by way of, if it is realized in cash. Revaluation reserve is not realized in cash. This is a reserve which has been created from revaluation of our asset, which is not encashable in cash, which is not encashed yet, जिसको हमने encash ही नहीं किया। तो ये वो रिजर्व है जिसमें कैश अवेलेबल नहीं होता, इसलिए इसको तो कैपिटल रिजर्व के रूप में भी बहुत रेयर यूज किया जाता है, रेवेन्यू में तो करना ही नहीं होता। चलो दोबारा से एक बार समझते हैं इसको, इक्वेशन कैसे बने। देखो यहां पर एक बात समझ लो कि डेट इक्विटी रेशियो जो है वो टेस्ट क्या कहता है। डेट इक्विटी रेशियो टेस्ट है 2:1 का। ये बड़ा सिंपल सा टेस्ट है। ये कहता है कि जो डेट है वो 2 होने चाहिए अगर इक्विटी जो है वो 1 है। तो सिंपल वर्ड्स में कहा जाए कि जो इक्विटी है वो 50% होती है डेट के। तो एक तो ये इक्वेशन समझनी जरूरी है। इसमें बेटा बड़ा सिंपल है कि इस केस में हमें दिया हुआ था कि 42 लाख हमारे पास डेट है, उसको हमने डिवाइड किया तो मेरे पास इक्विटी निकल आई मेरी। ये मिनिमम इक्विटी टू बी रिटेन्ड है, इतनी तो हमें रखनी है। एक्चुअल इक्विटी कितनी है वो तो चलो अलग बात है, ये मिनिमम इक्विटी टू बी रिटेन्ड है, इतनी तो हमें रखनी है। एक्चुअल इक्विटी कितनी है मेरे पास, वो मैंने कैलकुलेट कर लिया 72.80 लाख। अब हमें ये देखना है कि हमने मैक्सिमम कितनी अमाउंट, मैक्सिमम हम बायबैक कितने का कर सकते हैं। तो बायबैक तभी निकलेगा अगर हम लोग अपनी ये निकाल पाए, ये कैलकुलेट कर पाए कि हम लोगों को कितनी इक्विटी बाद में रखनी जरूरी है। तो आफ्टर बायबैक जो हमारे पास इक्विटी रहेगी वो कितनी रह जाएगी, मैक्सिमम इतनी तो हमें रखनी है 21 लाख, जैसे मैंने बताया आपको। अब मेरी इक्विटी जो है 72.80 लाख की है। यहां तक क्लियर है सभी को। मुझे कैलकुलेट क्या करना है, कंसेप्ट क्या है, कंसेप्ट ये कि मुझे ये कैलकुलेट करना है कि हाउ मच बायबैक इज टू बी मेड, बायबैक कितनी करनी है मुझे। तो समझो बात को कि मेरे पास 72,80,000 की टोटल इक्विटी है और बायबैक करने के बाद मुझे 21 लाख चाहिए यहां पर। ये बात तो सभी को क्लियर है, मिनिमम जो रिक्वायरमेंट है। इसमें से अगर मैं माइनस कर दूं कि मुझे बायबैक जो करना है वो इतने का करना है और इतने का सीआरआर क्रिएट करना है, बिकॉज जो मैं इक्विटी लेके चल रहा हूँ इक्विटी सही नहीं है, बिकॉज इसमें से कुछ अमाउंट सीआरआर को भी जाएगी, हम सभी को पता है। तो मैंने एज्यूम किया सीआरआर को एक्स जाएगी, बायबैक को वाई जाएगी। सॉरी, हम लोगों ने एजम्पशन ले ली जो इस क्वेश्चन में ली हुई है कि जो मेरी, उसके बाद ये इक्वेशन सामने आ गई। इक्विटी में से अगर बायबैक माइनस कर दे, सीआरआर माइनस कर दे, तो 21 लाख रहना चाहिए। यहां तक क्लियर है सभी को, एज्यूम्स क्लियर। अब इसमें से हमने एक इक्वेशन से बनानी है, तो इक्वेशन कैसे बना रहे हैं हम लोग ये देखो। हम कह रहे हैं 72,80,000 माइनस एक्स माइनस वाई शुड बी इक्वल टू 21 लाख। तो हम लोग एक इक्वेशन बना रहे हैं, वाई इज इक्वल टू 72,80,000 72,80,000 माइनस, ये हो जाएगी ना सेट इक्वेशन आपको करनी आती है, 21 लाख माइनस एक्स, सो वाई इज इक्वल टू 51,80,000 माइनस एक्स। ये इक्वेशन समझ लगी सभी। यशस्वी, डोंट वरी, in number of cases, in examples or in practical problems given in your module or in any other book, number of times complete information is not there, like whether it is in crores, whether it is in lakhs, and in solution here he has mentioned that it is in crore, it is in lakhs. This is just a formation error, but this type of error doesn't comes into your exams, because exams, whenever a paper setter set a paper, he normally checks that no such type of error may result. If such type of error comes to you, then obviously in that case you have to make some assumption, you have to take some assumption as a note and mention it as a note and then do the question. अगर एग्जाम में आपके साथ ऐसा हो जाता है जैसे इस क्वेश्चन में कहा जा रहा है कि इसमें रुपीज आर इन, नो सच इन्फॉर्मेशन इज गिवन कि रुपीज करोड़ में है या कैसे है, बट सॉल्यूशन करोड़ में है, तो ऐसा एग्जाम में हो जाए तो आप नोट देके कर सकते हो, चाहे आप लाख में मान लो, चाहे आप करोड़ में मान लो, जो भी आपको ठीक लगता है। वैसे तो ऐसा होता नहीं, पेपर सेटर बड़ी मेहनत करते हैं, चेक करते हैं, बट इवन देन फर्स्ट इक्वेशन मुझे लगता है समझ लगी होगी सभी को। अभी मैं सेकंड इक्वेशन में जाना चाहता हूं। इफ यू विल अलाउ मी, आई वुड लाइक टू गो फॉर सेकंड इक्वेशन। इक्वेशन नंबर 2। अब इक्वेशन नंबर 2 क्या कहती है, मैक्सिमम बायबैक जो हमने करना है डिवाइडेड बाय ऑफर प्राइस फॉर बायबैक। हमारी जो एक्स हम बात कर रहे हैं, जो हम सीआरआर क्रिएट करते हैं, वो कैसे क्रिएट करते हैं, अब ये वाली बात आ जाती है। देखो, जब भी हमने सीआरआर क्रिएट करना है, आप सभी को पता है सीआरआर क्या होता है, फेस वैल्यू ऑफ बायबैक। बायबैक वाले जो शेयर्स हैं उनकी फेस वैल्यू के बराबर आपने सीआरआर क्रिएट करना है। अब मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि मेरा जो बायबैक है वो कितना है, वाई। ये तो हमने एजम्पशन ले ही ली थी पहले, वाई है। अब ये तो अमाउंट है, बायबैक की क्या है, ये अमाउंट है, ये फेस वैल्यू नहीं है। अगर मुझे इसकी फेस वैल्यू निकालनी है तो वाई को मुझे 30 रुपीज से डिवाइड करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज दिस इज अ इशू प्राइस, और मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा फेस वैल्यू से, मतलब 10 रुपीज से। तो क्या निकल आएगा, क्या कैलकुलेट हो जाएगा, सीआरआर। अब सीआरआर क्या है, एक्स। तो ये इक्वेशन को जनरेट किया गया, लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड हियर। CRR का मीनिंग क्या होता है? CRR का मतलब होता है फेस वैल्यू ऑफ फ्रेश इशू। तो फ्रेश इशू की जो फेस वैल्यू हमने कैलकुलेट करनी है, कैसे कैलकुलेट करनी है? उसके लिए मुझे चाहिए नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स टू बी बायबैक इनटू फेस वैल्यू पर शेयर। कैलकुलेट हो जाएगा। In the given case, if you will see what we have to calculate, we have to calculate face value of fresh issue because that should be equivalent to CRR. Now, how to get this? For that purpose, you have to multiply number of shares to be buyback with the face value of each share. So, for that purpose, how to get the number of shares to be buyback? For that purpose, you have to calculate amount of buyback is assumed by us, that is Y. So, this is amount of buyback. To calculate number of shares, what we are doing? We are dividing it with the issue price, buyback price. What is the buyback price per share? See, it is given in the question. Buyback price per share, that is 30. So it is to be divided by 30. And when it is to be multiplied with face value per share, you will be able to calculate the CRR. What is the face value per share? That is 10. So CRR is equal to this. What is CRR? CRR is X. This is Y divided by 30 into 10. Solve this equation. It will be 10. It will be 3x is equal to y. It's clear to everyone? Now we know it very well. We are putting the equation in one equation in another to solve this. So I assume this is clear to everyone. Now we will put it in another equation, or another equation is to be put here to solve it. We may do anything. Either this is equation number 2 we have framed. This is equation number 1 we have already framed. This is y is equal to 51,80,000 minus x. Here you have calculated 3x is equal to y. So y is equal to 3x. You may do this thing also. So here y is equal to, this is equation number 2 which you have framed. Equation number 1 we have with us, that is y is equal to 51,80,000 minus x. So right here 3x is equal to 51,80,000 minus x. So x is equal to 51,80,000 divided by 4. So this will be 12,95,000. Capital reserve is never added, never used for the purpose of creating CRR. Is that clear, Aditi? I think 12,95,000 is very clear to everyone. So 12,95,000 is allowed. One more equation was there, share outstanding test. How much should be the share outstanding? Share outstanding should be, see all the equations. So maximum buyback should be 12,95,000, which you have already calculated. No, We have calculated CRR. Okay, we have calculated CRR because X was what? X was CRR. This was CRR. Now maximum permitted buyback of equity shares, that is equity shares to be buyback, that is Y. Now Y is equal to 3x, that is equal to 3 into 12 lakh 95,000. So this is 8 lakh 85,000. One more test was there, if you remember that, that was face value of shares, number of shares to be buyback. So how much is the number of shares to be buyback? That was third test also. 38 lakh 85,000. This is a equity shares to be buyback divided by 30. So you can easily calculate 1 lakh 29,500 number of shares to be buyback. So three conditions are there. First condition is debt equity ratio after buyback should be 2:1. Second condition is maximum buyback should be 25% of your equity capital plus free reserves. That we have not checked here because that is not demanded in this case. Third condition was it should be 25% of your number of shares, whatever are available with us. So that we can also check. You may note it down up to here. After the break, we will meet once again and then proceed. So after the break, we will meet once again and then proceed. after the break. So first of all, tell me, is that clear? Illustration number 5 is clear to everyone? We've already discussed that how much is to be buyback. That is by way of debt equity ratio. One, debt equity ratio concept is clear to everyone. That with that we will go for maximum buyback of 38 lakh 18,500, and the number of shares to be buyback will be 1 lakh 29,500. So let's go for next one, in which all things are to be checked. Here we have checked only one thing. Let's go for illustration, practical problem. Yeah, practical problem number 3 is good. Practical problem number 1 is also there, 3 is also there. So there are two practical problems. Go for practical problem number 3. I expect that you have already done practical problem number 2 at your home. An important question, because this will cover the exam concept of which is will come into your exam, and it will normally covers 10 to 15 mark, 10 to 20 mark question in your exams. The concept which you have already started will be completed in this question. So if this type of question will come to your exam, it will be minimum of 10 to 20 marks. So having good weightage, try to do it very seriously and try to understand it. He says the balance sheet of Competent Limited is given to you. Share capital is given to you. Reserve and surplus is given to you. Long-term borrowings are given to you. Current liabilities are given to you. Non-current assets, current assets are given to you. This is a detail of your share capital. This is 12 lakh 50,000. Equity share capital is there. Reserve and surplus is given to you. In this security premium, profit or loss account, and revenue reserve, thrice are free reserves. So all can be utilized for the purpose of preparing, generating CRR or for any other purpose. Long-term borrowings are given to you, which include debentures and unsecured loans. Both it is 28 lakh 75,000. Fixed assets are given to you. Company wants to buy back 25,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each on 1st of April at rupees 20 per share. So the buyback is very much clear that it is to be done for 25,000 equity shares of rupees 20 at rupees 20 each. Buyback is authorized by its article and also by the necessary resolution. Payment for buyback will be made by the company out of sufficient free reserves. So comment with your calculation whether buyback is within the provisions of the Companies Act 2013. So if it is within the provisions of Companies Act 2013, you will have to do it. And then you have to prepare balance sheet, also pass journal entries, and then prepare balance sheet. All that is to be done. So started with the concept one, that we have to check whether how much will be the buyback. That is not given here, that how much will be the buyback, because he has mentioned you company wants to, okay, company has already mentioned 25 on equity shares are to be buyback. But he says the payment for buyback will be made, okay, yeah, whether all the buyback of shares by companies within the provisions of the Companies Act. So provisions are to be checked by you. So whether this much number of buyback can be made or not, that you have to check also. Earlier in the illustration what we have done, except in the illustration number 5, we haven't checked it. But here he is saying that you should have to check it out whether this is allowed or not. So we have to check the provisions also. So three provisions are there, we have already discussed. That is a resource test, share outstanding test, and the third one is debt equity ratio test. The resource test, yeah, first is resource test. That is maximum 25% of paid up capital plus free reserves will be the amount of buyback. Number of shares to be buyback, it should be also 25% of paid up capital and free reserves in number of shares, to be number of shares divided by obviously the face value per share. And third one is, this is not an important test because we are going to consider this only an important test. And third is, which is also very important, that is debt equity ratio test. So I'm normally not considering this one because this is just wastage of your energy. But this test is there. It is in theory. Debt equity ratio should be 2:1 after buyback. So these two tests are to be checked in a proper way, out of which one is very much clear to everyone, I assume. Second, we will do in this question also. First is also to be recalculated in this case. For that, first of all, you have to go for debt equity ratio test. And debt equity ratio test. Let's do it. For this purpose, first of all, you will have to check how much is the debt available with you and how much is the equity. Okay, so debt is equal to, what means for debt? Debt means for all outsider liabilities. It includes all liabilities, means except share capital and reserve and surplus. So you have to leave these and provisions if there is any. You have to take all these. So outsider liabilities, if you will see, that includes these two. 18,75,000, 14% debentures, unsecured loans 10 lakh, Yeah, you may take it from here, that is better. It is 76 lakh 50,000. If you see, one is long term borrowing, 28 lakh 75,000, plus other current liabilities that will also be taken, other current liabilities. So totally 76 lakh 50,000. If you are interested to go for details, it includes debentures plus other long-term liabilities plus current liabilities. So this is all given in the given question. So 76 lakh 50,000 is a debt. Whenever talking about equity, equity is already discussed. That means for equity share capital, share capital plus free reserves. So share capital plus free reserves. So what is share capital in the given question? It is 12 lakh 50,000 plus free reserves are given to you 18 lakh 75,000. 31 lakh 25,000 is the equity given to you. Now you have to do it with me. First of all, make equation number 1. Let's assume buyback amount is equal to y. Buyback amount is equal to y. Is maximum amount of buyback, whatever is to be taken. And if we have to go for buyback, obviously to calculate equity, we should have the knowledge of, we should have the amount of CRR also. Amount transferred to CRR. That is assumed as X. So these two things are there. One is buyback amount and amount to be transferred to CRR. Now, minimum balance of equity to be retained. How much should be the minimum balance of equity to be retained? That you have to finalize. That is, equity is equal to 50% of debts. This condition is to be satisfied. For this purpose, we have the amount of debt 45 lakh 25,000 divided by 2 or into 50%. So this is equal to 22 lakh. So this should be the minimum equity to be retained after buyback. So for this purpose, equation is to be framed. Equation 1. Current equity minus amount transferred to CRR. You may do it in the other way also. For framing equation 1, first of all, go for the equity share capital. Equity share capital is equal to 12 lakh 50,000. Now, free reserves are equal to 18 lakh 75,000 minus CRR. So 18 lakh 75,000 minus CRR. And this equity should be after deducting buyback face value. No, this will be typical for you. Let it be easy. An easy thing which you have already done, that is equity minus x minus y is equal to 22 lakh 65, 62,500. That you have already done. So go it by this way. That will be easy. Y is equal to 31 lakh 25,000 minus 22 lakh 62,500 minus x. So it will be so this is y is equal to 8 lakh 62,500. Another equation we have to frame, that is CRR is equal to face value of equity shares buyback, which is equal to y divided by 20 into 10, and this is x. So y is equal to 2x. Put the equation, or this equation to be put here as per your suitability, whatever you feel suitable. Two x is equal to this is the amount of CRR. So isn't that 76 lakh 50,000? That meant for all debts. That doesn't mean for long-term debts. Let it be clear. Copy it first. Tell me, is that clear to everyone? Whomsoever are available, please tell me whether it is clear to everyone. Having any doubt, just tell me. Is that clear to everyone? Having any doubt, please tell me. Interested to repeat it? I would like to. अगर किसी को समय नहीं लगा तो बता सकता है। देखो सिंपल सी बात है कि हमने कितना बैलेंस रिटेन करना है। तो इक्विटी जो है हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया कि वो 50% ऑफ डेट के बराबर होनी चाहिए। सो दैट इज 22,62,500। अब जब हम इक्वेशन नंबर 1 पे जाते हैं तो उसमें हमें पता है कि हमारी इस टाइम पे इक्विटी कितनी है, करंट इक्विटी। उसमें से जो अमाउंट सीआरआर को ट्रांसफर हो जाएगी वो हमने माइनस कर दिया, और जो अमाउंट हम लोगों को अपने पास बायबैक करने हैं, हमने जो शेयर उसकी अमाउंट भी हमने माइनस कर दी। इसमें प्रीमियम भी माइनस होगा और इसमें फेस वैल्यू भी माइनस होगी, दोनों चीजें माइनस होगी। Because it includes premium also, it includes face value also. Face value will be deducted from equity share capital and premium will be written off from security premium, that is free reserves. अगर आप ध्यान दो, अगर हमने पीछे जो डिस्कस किया हुआ है कि जो y है वो क्या है, वो तो अमाउंट ऑफ बायबैक है। अगर बायबैक 20 रुपीज है तो उसमें से 10 रुपीज तो एडजस्ट हो जाएंगे इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल में से, बिकॉज उसमें से माइनस हो जाएंगे, और 10 रुपीज जो प्रीमियम हम देंगे वो सिक्योरिटी प्रीमियम में से एडजस्ट हो जाएगा। तो दोनों चीजें माइनस करनी है, इसीलिए हमने y को माइनस कर दिया इसमें से। पहले मैं थोड़ा टेक्निकल करने जा रहा था, पर मुझे लगा कि टेक्निकल नहीं करना चाहिए, उससे टफ हो जाएगा, क्योंकि एग्जाम में इससे ज्यादा एडवांस क्वेश्चन नॉर्मली नहीं आता। बट फिर भी मैं लॉजिक समझाना चाहता हूँ। लॉजिक ये है, अगर इसी को हम डिटेल में करेंगे तो लॉजिक समय लगेगा। अमाउंट ऑफ बायबैक रुपीज आपके सामने बेटा, जो भी अमाउंट है मैंने निकाली, कैलकुलेट करिए, और ये बिल्कुल ठीक है बेटा, अभी तक के लिए ठीक है। अच्छा, सीआरआर निकाल दिया, अमाउंट ऑफ बायबैक आपने निकाल दी, सही है। सो y इज इक्वल टू आपने निकाल दिया है 5,75,000। ओके बेटा, डन। सो हम लोगों ने यहाँ पर ये दोनों अमाउंट्स को माइनस कर दिया कि इक्विटी में से जो हमारे सीआरआर है वो माइनस कर देते हैं। तो उसके बाद क्या बचेगा, हमारी इक्वेशन बन गई। उसके बाद हमारे पास जो मैक्सिमम मिनिमम अमाउंट जो हमको रिटेन करनी है इक्विटी के, वो हमने लिख दिया। तो इक्वेशन बना दी हमने। दूसरी तरफ हम लोग सीआरआर की अमाउंट निकालना चाहते हैं, जो कि फेस वैल्यू ऑफ इक्विटी शेयर्स टू बी बायबैक के बराबर है। अब टोटल अमाउंट ऑफ बायबैक आपके सामने है, जिसमें एक शेयर की वैल्यू 20 रुपीज है जिसपे हमने बायबैक करना है, और 10 रुपीज जो उसकी फेस वैल्यू है। तो उसको हमने कैलकुलेट कर लिया, इक्वेशन दूसरी बन गई हमारे पास। तो इक्वेशन को यूज कर लिया हम लोगों ने, उससे हमारे पास सीआरआर आ। मुझे लगता है ये क्लियर हो गया होगा सभी को। पर मुझे आप लोगों के कमेंट्स नहीं आए, कुछ बच्चों ने कहा है कि क्लियर है, बाकियों ने कुछ नहीं बोला, इसीलिए मैंने एक बार हिंदी में भी रिपीट कर दिया। बट फिर भी अगर किसी को डाउट है तो प्लीज टेल मी। तो फर्स्ट इक्वेशन मेरी सेटिस्फाई हो चुकी है, फर्स्ट जो कंसेप्ट था डेट इक्विटी वाला ओके हो चुका है। अब मुझे ये चेक करना है कि ये 25% वाली कंडीशन को भी हम पूरा कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं। तो उसको देखने के लिए चलो अभी हम लोग 25% की कंडीशन की तरफ चलते हैं। 25% ऑफ पेड अप कैपिटल प्लस फ्री रिजर्व्स। हमारी जो पेड अप कैपिटल प्लस फ्री रिजर्व है, उसकी जो टोटल अमाउंट है वो आपकी है 45,25,000। सो इसका 25% कैलकुलेट करो आप, कितना आ गया बताओ। Just tell me how much will be the amount. It will be 25% of paid up capital plus free reserves. Get it for me? It is 7 lakh. No, sorry. This is not 45,25,000. I have written it wrongly. It is 25% of 31,25,000. So 25% is 7,81,250. This is already calculated by us. 31,25,000. So 25% is 7,81,250. That will be the minimum shareholders fund, the maximum shareholders fund to be utilized for this purpose. So maximum amount of buyback 7,81,250. Now buyback price per share is equal to 20. So number of shares that can be also calculated, number of shares to be buyback. So we can say that 7,81,250 is one amount. Second amount we have already calculated, that is 5,75,000. And third is third test also you can do, which normally I doesn't prefer to be done with some technicality. It will be always very simple. It is 12,50,000 shares. 12,50,000 is the amount of share capital. So how much is the shares? See, there are 12,50,000 means 1,25,000 equity shares are there. 1,25,000 equity shares at the rate of 10 each. So you have to calculate 25% of 1,25,000. That is the exact meaning of it. It will be 31,250. This is a third test. Third test allows us number of shares. That is 1,25,000 into 25%. 31,250. And if you are interested to get number of shares here, you will have to divide it by 20, divide it by 20. You can easily get it. So this allows us for 39,250 shares. 39,062, sorry. This allows us 28,750 shares. We have to go for only 25,000 shares, which has already been mentioned in the question. So 25,000 which we have to buy back must be less than thrice. तीनों से नीचे होना चाहिए. देखो जो मैक्सिमम अलाउड है इसमें 28,750 है. इससे ज्यादा शेयर्स आप नहीं बाय बैक कर सकते, बट हम तो 25,000 कर रहे हैं. So condition is satisfied. There is no worry. We can easily go for the buyback of 25,000 shares. This is all about the working note. This is all about the calculations. So we will give it by way of steps. We'll not give it by working notes. Instead, the complete solution is given by way of steps, because this will be a rewarding thing in your exam. So we should have to give it by way of proper steps. Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, like this. Like we have started from here. So give it step number 1. That is debt equity ratio check. Then step number 2. Now this is not step number 2. Step number 1 is there. Step number 2 is on the next page. This is step number 2. And then we have gone for this step number 3. Then we have gone for step number 4. Whatever is the presentation given in your module, that is always best. So for presentation point of view, I assume that your module is always giving best presentation. Very good. So 25,000 shares can be easily issued, or easily buyback. There's no problem at all. Now you can solve, we can pass journal entries for this question. Let's go for the next topic, which is an important topic. Having only 5 marks question in your exam, weightage of just 5 marks, but that is always beneficial because 5 marks are very important. Always think within just 10 minutes you will understand all that. Equity share with differential rights. This is a part of your chapter, so this is to be covered in a proper way. Equity share with differential rights. What means for equity share with differential right? First of all, try to understand all that. Actually, what happened? Our promoters and the directors of and the major shareholders of the company, we can say, are always interested to have more voting right so that they can take the decision in their favor, because they have always keep it into their mind that whatever decision they are interested to take, they should have to take according to their own opinion. So that is an important part. Second thing is they are interested to issue shares by giving the special right. For that purpose, they must have the extra privilege with them. So that extra privilege can be arranged only by increasing the voting right or the dividend right to someone, to the shareholders who have the who are normally the promoters of the organization or like that. Means what happened, promoters think that they must have the extra benefit, they must have the extra power, but that power can't be arranged without having extra voting right in comparison to the other shareholders or extra dividend rights. So what they have done, they are interested to have more voting right, they can issue equity shares with differential rights. So these shares are normally issued by the company for the benefit of the promoters. This is not earlier allowed by the government, but now a time this is also allowed by the government under section 43 subsection A. It has been specially allowed. Not good for the health of the company from its public picture point of view, but it is good for the health of the promoters and the existence of the company in long run. Because in this case, promoters have a special interest in the company and they will run with the company with for a long run. Otherwise, if they will lose the shares in that company, if they lose the voting right in that company, then obviously they will leave the interest and no one is there to run the company. Like in case of government companies, you will say they are normally in losses. They are not able to retain themselves because they are not private companies and no one has a personal interest in that. So seeing that thing or some other thing, whatever the point comes to the mind of the lawmakers, it has been decided under section 43A of the Companies Act that those equity shares can be issued which have some different, some more differential right and some more voting right in dividend, in voting, or otherwise in according with such rule as may be prescribed. There may be some conditions which are to be fulfilled in that case, and those conditions are not of practical use, those are just of theoretical use. Differential can be done by giving superior dividend or superior voting right or diluted voting right to a class of equity shareholders. A residual category otherwise have been created to give enough leeway to the management. So by this way, there are two types of equity shares now. One is equity shares with voting right, normal voting right, and equity shares with differential right as to dividend voting or otherwise in accordance with such rules and subjects. So what is the rules that you can see? It is just like giving a double voting right to some equity shareholders. Means their weightage will be doubled in comparison to the weightage of other shareholders which are issued in routine. Like company has issued 1,000 shares with normal voting right. So they will be equivalent to 1,000 shares only. 1,000 voting weightage. And 1,000 shares are issued which have double voting right. So they have a weightage of 2,000 shares. So in this way they have been issued, or company has issued that these 1,000 shares will get double dividend in comparison to the dividend issued to these person. So they will be doubled. So this type of shares are normally issued and by the name equity share with differential voting right. With differential rights. Differential right meant for either differential voting right or differential dividend right. Okay. But they have to satisfy some condition. What is the condition? I would like to clear you because that is also important from theory point of view. It is given on 4.31 page. Yeah. First of all, yes, the rules laid down are as follow. First of all, the rule is article of association must allow it. Issue of share is authorized by an ordinary resolution. And third thing is share with differential rights shall not exceed 26% of the total post issue paid up capital. Means if 1 lakh shares are there after issue, after this issue, then 1 lakh 26% means maximum 26,000 shares out of that can be can have the differential right, not more than that. 26%. And fourth thing is they must have a consistent track record of distribution of profit for last 3 years. Means in the previous 3 years, they have regularly distributed the dividend to the they have regularly distributed dividend to the equity shareholders. Company has not defaulted in any filing of financial statement and annual returns for the last 3 years. So these are the conditions which are to be satisfied. This is from theoretical point of view. From practical point of view, it is not too much important. Yeah, you should have to remember it number of times. This type of case study may come into your exam and you have to solve, you have to give the answer. So this is the only thing. The important thing is this one, which is from practical point of view, which is important. Equity share capital is held by X, Y, and Z. He says there are 3 persons having equity share capital, but their weightages are somehow different. X have the weightage of 40%, Y have the weightage of 40%, and Z have the weightage of 20%. So weightage is somehow different. This is called differential right. So X, Y, and Z have differential right. A, B, and C have preferential capital, and they have also the also different voting rights. 50, 30. They doesn't have voting right. They have a dividend right. So that is 50, 30, and 20. If the paid up equity capital of the company is 1 crore and preference share capital is 50 lakh, now number of times preference shareholders are also issued with voting right. It is not compulsory that they doesn't have voting right. You may see there release of preference shareholder restrictive voting right, where the dividend in respect of a class of preference share has not been paid for a period of 2 years or more. Such class of preference shareholders shall have a right to vote on all the resolution. Means if you will not declare dividend, if you will not pay dividend to preference shareholders for 2 years regularly, then obviously they will get voting right also. Preference shareholder have superior financial, but they doesn't have any control. Every member of the company limited by shares and holding any preference share in respect of such can have a restrictive right to vote only on resolution placed with which they have only limited rights. They can only vote in these cases. But in case they will not be given dividend for regularly 2 years, they will have right to vote on all the resolution. So this is also important point from theoretical point of view. Just a moment. So here it is given to you that they have some voting rights 40, 40, and 20, and ABC have voting rights 50, 30, and 20. So if the paid up capital is 1 crore, then that will be allocated in such a way that when the voting right will be calculated, they will be allocated in such a way that the voting right will be according to the proportion of the weights, proportion of the, you may say, proportion of the weightage given to them. So here weightage is given to them. This is, if you will say 40, 40, and 20, and they have 50, 30, and 20. Total equity share capital is 1 crore and preference share capital is 50 lakhs. So in this case, you will see relative weightage in the voting right of equity and preference will be 2/3 and 1/3. How it is 2/3 and 1/3? He says it is 1 crore equity is to preference. It is 50 lakhs. So this is 2:1. So if you see, it is 2/3 is the equity and 1/3 is the preference. Equity, preference. So that he have done 2/3 and 1/3. Now out of 2/3, 40% belongs to X. Out of 2/3, 40% belongs to Y. Out of 2/3, 20% belongs to Z. Out of 1/3, because now preference shares start. This is equity shares. Equity shares are 2/3 of the total shares. So how to get their voting right? That is the way, that is the calculation method. 2/3 into 40%. X 2/3 into 40%, that is Y. 2/3 into 20%, that is Z. And when we are talking about preference shares, that is A, B, and C, 1/3 into 50%, 1/3 into 30%, 1/3 into 20%. बेटा मैं एक बार हिंदी में बता देता हूँ, would like to explain in हिंदी also, कि जो आप लोगों की वेटेज है इक्विटी और प्रेफरेंस की, उसको आप 40% या 30% जिससे भी है उससे मल्टीप्लाई करोगे तो यू कैन इजीली गेट इट. इट विल बी नॉट अ टिपिकल, इट विल बी अ इजी केस. ठीक है, तो ये कैलकुलेट करके आप लोगों की वोटिंग निकल आएगी. यही यहाँ पर कैलकुलेट करके दिखाया गया है. ये आपके एग्जाम में प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. Having any doubt in this, please tell me. Practical problem number 4 is similar to this. You may have to do it. What is postal ballot? Postal ballot is very simple, that when we are putting our votes by sending it by way of post, means that is a concept which has been introduced in the last few years. If a person is not available at the place of vote where vote is to be made, then they can send their vote by way of a post, through post, you may say. अगर मतलब किसी ने वोट करनी है और वहां पर वो अवेलेबल नहीं है तो उसको पोस्टल बैलेट की ऑप्शन दी गई. जैसे इस बार अगर आपने देखा होगा तो इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने, जब ये इंडियन गवर्नमेंट के इलेक्शन हुए थे तो उसमें आर्मी को पोस्टल बैलेट की ऑप्शन दी गई थी कि आर्मी वाले वहां से पोस्टल बैलेट कर सकते हैं, मीन बाय पोस्ट अपनी बैलेट भेज सकते हैं. वो फिर उनको जो अपना लिख के भेजना होता है कि हम लोग इसको वोट डाल रहे हैं, तो हिडन ही जाती है, उसको मतलब कोई ओपन नहीं करेगा. बस ये ध्यान रखना होता है. और क्या बेटा, having any doubt, please tell me. I think that chapter is completed. Now what you have to do next? The next thing is we will have to go for the examination questions, which I'll try to upload it for you. If you will see, I'll upload it in your, I will try to upload it today or tomorrow, preferably. I'll send it to IC, they will upload it. And With the problems, you will have to meet me again on Sunday at 6 p.m. in which I'll take doubts of accounting for ESOPs or this buyback of shares also. But the important or the main stress will be on application of accounting standards, because you know it very well that there are a number of questions given in your module in your 10 years, which is in relation to your accounting standards, and the weightage of accounting standard is approximately of 30 marks. And if you will add these two chapters, the weightage will become minimum 40 to 50 marks. So I suggest you to do it sincerely and tell me whomsoever are available. जरा पता लगे इस टाइम पे कौन कौन अवेलेबल है, मैं बता तो रहा हूँ बट कौन कौन अवेलेबल एक बार देखें. नो डाउट्स रिगार्डिंग कंसेप्ट टिल नाउ. क्लासेस के रिगार्डिंग क्या आप बता सकते हैं कि बैच कब तक खत्म होगा? बेसिकली दैट विल बी नॉर्मल, दैट इज नॉर्मली अपलोडेड इन योर शेड्यूल व्हिच हैज बीन गिवन टू यू इन योर बीओएस ऐप. तो वहां पर आप देख सकते हो क्लासेस कैसे चलेंगी, कैसे खत्म होगी. मेरी नेक्स्ट क्लास संडे को रहेगी, जिस दिन मैं आप लोगों के जो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स के डाउट्स हैं वो लूंगा. जो आप लोगों को एक्स्ट्रा क्वेश्चंस दिए हुए हैं मॉड्यूल में वो सारे आपने करके आने हैं. एंड में दिए हुए हैं काफी सारे क्वेश्चंस, वो सारे क्वेश्चंस आपने करके आने हैं. जो भी डाउट्स होंगे वो लेंगे. इस चैप्टर के डाउट्स भी ले लेंगे अगर आपको कुछ एक्स्ट्रा डाउट्स निकलते हैं तो. बट वो डाउट्स कब आएंगे? जब आप 10 ईयर के क्वेश्चंस करोगे. तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा 10 ईयर्स के क्वेश्चन आपने करने हैं, तो हम लोग वो क्वेश्चंस आपके जो है उनके डाउट्स ले लेंगे. तो संडे को हम मिलेंगे 6 o'clock इवनिंग में, 6 to 8:30 इवनिंग, नॉट द मॉर्निंग. No doubt, sir. I am here also. Please upload examination questions. There's no problem. I will be there on Sunday. All must be there on Sunday, because Sunday will be the extraordinary session. I'll also tell you how you can get very good marks into your exams, how you can clear CA Inter easily. What is the key points? What is the key point to get it clear? आप कैसे इसको क्लियर कर सकते हो, कैसे आपको स्टडी करनी चाहिए, कैसे आपको अपने आप को प्रिपेयर करना चाहिए सीए इंटर के लिए, और किस तरह से आप अपना फ्यूचर सिक्योर कर सकते हो, सारी बात करेंगे. बट उसके लिए आप सभी को संडे को प्रेजेंट रहना पड़ेगा. ओके ना? May I ask question from scanner? Yes, exactly. You may. Aditi, bring your problems from scanner or from wherever you will have. We'll discuss all the problem. You need not to worry, beta. So we can close the session, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome.